Have you ever watched a movie that made you hide under the covers of your bed? Or made you look around every 5 seconds when sitting alone? If yes, then you have probably heard of Guillermo del Toro. In the video, we'll talk about his latest creation, Cabinet of Curiosities, and another H.P. Lovecraft movie he almost made. But before we start with that, make sure you have subscribed to our channel. And if you want to be notified the next time we upload, you can hit that bell icon. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. First up, the workaholic horror fiction director. The famous director and his frankly concerning obsession with monsters and dark stories are well known in the world of movies, particularly his latest creation, Netflix's Cabinet of Curiosities. It must be said that they blew it out of the park with this one, and you would expect nothing else from a director like Del Toro.
No one loves life more than we do, in a way, because we are so conscious about death.
Considering his first ever movie was a horror drama set in Mexico called Cronos, it would be only fair to say that Guillermo was meant to be the director of Cabinet of Curiosities. There are only 8 episodes out as of right now, but they are all just perfect. Not all the episodes are the type that make you hide under your blanket. Some are slow-paced and filled with character development, and some are relentlessly creepy. This balance alone makes it apparent how much work went into the production and how much talent went into its direction. If you haven't watched it yet, we highly recommend it, especially after this video, where you'll find out how much stuff was going on in the director's life while it was created.
Nance, it's all right.
This is where another project Guillermo del Toro was working on, At the Mountains of Madness, comes in. At the Mountains of Madness was an adaptation of the H.P. Lovecraft novel of the same name. The project was just another one of many projects del Toro has either chosen to or been forced to drop out of, but this one was a bigger blow than the rest of them. Speaking of dropping out of projects, Guillermo del Toro is no stranger to starting things out and never getting to finish them off.
Paintings or specimens of natural and unnatural history. A dragon's tooth, a Fiji mermaid, a unicorn's horn, and behind each of these, a story.
Most of the time, this was because the stars didn't align for him. From stars, we mean the higher authorities, be it studios or streaming services, or some other organization. The Hobbit and Fantastic Voyage are 2 of the biggest projects del Toro has left midway. The reason he left The Hobbit was a very complex one with many moving parts. Long story short, Guillermo was more excited to bring the book to the movie, so much so that he started researching the moment he got confirmed as the director. But what he probably didn't expect was the uncertainty that followed. At first, they couldn't make up their mind about how they wanted to tell the story, and whenever other factors would change the story even slightly, production would be pushed back weeks. Once those troubles were over, MGM found itself in a financial crisis. Del Toro now had to wait for them to figure out the business side of the film before he could even begin to bring his amazing ideas to the screen. Before he could get the green light, though, his patience ran out. Guillermo del Toro gave up on the project and went on to new pastures, a decision that would later come back to haunt him because it took MGM less than a month to give the green light. And the movie was a huge success, too. At the Mountains of Madness was the latest victim of such fortunes, so stick around to find out exactly what happened to the project and why it failed to make the cut. Next up, The Downfall of the Mountains. H.P. Lovecraft's novel was deemed to be unfilmable by readers who were so impressed by the story and the writing that they felt no movie could ever do it justice. But when they saw that Guillermo del Toro was at the helm, many changed their minds and were excited to see what he would come up with. So, if anyone could film the unfilmable, it was del Toro. But he too failed, although not for the reasons you would expect. The problems were too many, and it was taking more time than del Toro had initially estimated. The fact that he had the screenplay for At the Mountains of Madness ready in 2006 is enough to get a sense of how much time del Toro was forced to invest in this project. The problem started when the film was rejected by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is quite a big loss if you think about it. Signing with them would ensure financial stability and a big platform to launch the movie. But unfortunately for the production team, the studio was unsure about the cost and the tone of the film. The story didn't have a love story, nor did it have a happy ending. If it were a story of his own, this would be no problem for del Toro. But since this was supposed to be an adaptation of a novel written by someone else, adding a happy ending or novel would be be disrespectful to the story's original writer. Progress was halted for the next 4 years until James Cameron came around. He was to be a producer, and if that wasn't enough, Tom Cruise was poised to take the starring role. These were good signs for the movie, and Del Toro announced that filming would begin in June 2011. This time they were going with Universal Studios, but that studio also backed out of it. They decided to hold on to the green light because they believed that the movie must be rated PG-13. Del Toro, on the other hand, felt that the film must be rated R. They had been rejected again, but Del Toro had learned his lesson. The very next chance he got, he sold the movie by saying that it could be PG-13. Making it PG-13 meant that Del Toro now had an older audience, and scaring them would be harder. So he decided to make it as creepy and scary as possible. There was something about this proposition that the new studio, Legendary Pictures, didn't quite like, and decided to reject them. This seemed to be the last straw to be pulled, and with it, Del Toro quit as director and producer. It seems he is very particular with his time, and does not give it away to anyone or anything uninteresting or very time-consuming. So that was all the reasons behind the failure of the film At the Mountains of Madness. But we are not done yet. Up next, what movie Guillermo will release next? Hang around to find out. And finally, what is Guillermo del Toro's next movie? Before we start speculating, remember that Del Toro is prone to dropping out of projects, so we wouldn't take anything you hear to the bank. Despite all that though, we believe our analysis is pretty accurate, and would be very surprised if it does turn out to be correct. After Cabinet of Curiosities, Guillermo del Toro has been in something of a spotlight, which is all the more reason to look to his next big launch. Prepare to be taken back to your childhood, because his next movie is called Pinocchio. Yes, this is the same character that was in Shrek and other nostalgic books. The adorable character definitely has the worst poker faces there can be. That is what Del Toro is working on as of right now. The teaser trailers are out, and the movie itself is expected to be released during the holiday season. The streaming service it will be available on is Netflix. A star-studded cast will be involved, with the likes of Tom Hanks as Geppetto, Luke Evans as the coachman, Cynthia Erivo as the fairy with turquoise hair, Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Pinocchio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket, Keegan-Michael Key as the Fox, and others. Apart from the cast, the other reason this movie is special is that according to Del Toro, the animators and editors will be credited alongside the cast members at the beginning of the movie. This has never been done before, and it is no secret that the editors deserve more credit for the hard work that they put in. As for the movie itself, it will obviously not be a horror film. In what world can Pinocchio be made into a monster or a scary character? Although now that we think about it, it would be pretty scary to see someone whose nose gets longer the more they lie. And with Guillermo del Toro's track record, he may even sneak a couple of startling moments in the movie out of force of habit. All in all, it will be undoubtedly a lovely watch, and we can't wait for the movie to be released. How can anyone be disappointed in a movie which was directed by the legendary Guillermo del Toro? So that is about all the time we have for this video. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want more content like this. We will update you when Guillermo del Toro releases his next film, or if it gets scrapped. Take care out there, and goodbye.